Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're broadcasting from the Bighorn Outdoor Adventure Show in Spokane, but we want to tell you about a great place to recreate in Northeast Washington. It's Ferry County. There's not a whole lot of people there, but there's a whole lot to do. With us here to tell you more about outdoor recreational opportunities in the area is Angel Glennewinkle. She is the president of the Republic Regional Visitor Convention Bureau, and Catherine Mead with the Stone Rose Interpretive Center and Fossil Site. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Nice to be here.
Well, it's great to have you both here because it's been far too long since I've been in Ferry County, and just wandering past your booth, I started having all these great memories of things I did up there, and I figured we need to share all this with our listeners again. So let's start off with the fishing, and in particular, one of the best fishing spots in Washington State, Curlew Lake. There's 3 resorts on the lake, and there's a reason for that, isn't there?
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. Fishing's great year-round. All the perch. There's no limit on the perch. Tons to do. Water sports, sightseeing. Can't beat it.
There's also a state park there, and it's a great little state park, but I would highly recommend the resorts as well. All 3 have great followings, and none of them are bad resorts. They're all run by good people. You're going to have a good time no matter where you stay. But I love Curlew Lake because there's all sorts of different fish you can catch out of there. Now, perch, like you said, no limit on those, but trout is a big reason that people come to Curlew Lake, isn't it?
That is true, and they also stock the trout, so we always have a very good abundance of trout, so good fishing.
Now, there used to be tiger muskie tournaments at Curlew Lake, and tiger muskie were only stocked in a few lakes in Washington. They are truly the fish of 10,000 casts. In fact, the last tiger muskie tournament I covered up there, I think they got 2 muskie, and they were thrilled to get that many muskie. Are people still fishing for muskie up there?
They are, and they're still catching them.
Not many, but they are catching them. And, folks, let me be clear. That doesn't mean it's a bad fishing lake. That's just muskie fishing, folks. That's the way it is. Something else about Curlew Lake, like you said, it's beautiful, and there's a lot of wildlife. Lots of deer, of course, all over Ferry County, to include even downtown Republic for my last time I was there. There's actual, rookeries of great blue heron up there on some of the islands and the trees. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen is a tree full of these huge prehistoric-looking heron.
I know. It's when you're fishing and you see that, and sometimes they're on the island, and I've seen deer swim across. It's just cool. You just can't miss it. And the loons, we have loons.
Absolutely. Loons, eagles, it's all there. So Curlew Lake, great place to camp, great place to fish, great place to go stay at one of the resorts. But we should also mention on the other side, if you don't want that lake experience and maybe you want an equestrian experience, you've got a great little diamond in the rough called the K Diamond K Ranch. Visited there about 10 years ago, too. Tell our listeners a little bit about that operation.
That's actually a working ranch. You get to stay. They do an all-inclusive meals. If you want to ride horseback, you can do that. If they're rounding up cattle, you can help them round up the cattle. They have all sorts of wildlife. The mother is a veterinarian. It's just a great place. You get to see it all. Cattle, horses, wildlife. You can snowmobile, cross-country ski, ATV, hunt fish. It's the full meal deal. That's what you're trying to say. I know that. Now, as I recall, running right through the ranch there's the San Poil River, and there's actually a little fishing you can do on the ranch if you're a guest for trout, huh? That is correct.
It is a really neat place. Like I said, I stayed there 10 years ago. Really nice people who operate that place. And by the way, the food is really good. While you're in the area, bring your bicycle. So we've already talked about horses. We've already talked about fishing. We've hinted at hunting. Let's talk about bicycles because, Catherine, you've got a rail trail that's kind of a new and big deal up there, don't you?
We do. We're so excited for this new rail trail, and we really hope that a lot of people will come and bike on it, hike on it, run on it, walk on it. It goes right by the Curlew Lake, and it goes from Republic all the way up to Danville, which is the border town with Canada.
So this is mainly day use, but is there access to resorts or campgrounds along the way?
Yeah, that's really where most of the public access to the trail is. You can access it through the 2 resorts on the west side of the lake, and also at the north end of the lake at Kiwanis is a public access. But almost anywhere along there you can access.
All right. We've talked bikes. We've talked fishing. We've talked horses. We've hinted at hunting, but how about this? Fossil hunting. And you'll find that in Republic itself, and you'll find it at the Stone Rose Interpretive Center and Fossil Site. So let's set the table here, because this is one of the most unique experiences I ever had. People start off at the Interpretive Center. What happens there, and where do they go next?
Right, you come to the Interpretive Center, it's right in town, and you register to dig. You'll get a short orientation on how to look for fossils, how to split the rock, and then you head up for the day. And the site is 2 blocks away from town. It's right in the city of Republic, so it's very accessible.
Well, let's talk about the fossils that people are going to find, because right now, Republic's a fairly dry area, pretty wooded area, pretty hilly area, but back a few million years ago, not so much.
Right. 50 million years ago, they believed that the Republic area was a big lake, and it was very tropical, temperate, and so we have mostly plants, insects, and cones, leaves, that type of thing that you're going to find. We are only 50 million years old, so
Only 50 million years old. So no dinosaurs, folks, no dinosaurs, but I'm guessing they have found some fish or other interesting fossils up there?
Right. We have a few fish that we find every year. Mostly we find scales and skeletons, of course, but we have this amazing ancient salmon in our case, and we have a few of those in the center that people have found. They're about 25 inches maybe. They're giant, and they're really neat.
Wow. All right. So you get to see them at the center. And again, if you don't have the tools, don't worry. They'll rent them to you for a very low price. You just go 2 blocks, and they have this area, and they turn it over for you. So there's, it's not just like it's been picked over for a few years and there's nothing left. There are always new fossils to find. Spend a couple of hours up there, and then you bring them back to the center, and what happens next?
Right, you bring all that you find, and you can dig all day and find as many as you can find. You bring them back to the center, and our operations manager and our other employees there who are schooled in identification will identify your fossils, and you're allowed to pick 3 that you like and take them home with you.
There is a caveat to that, though, folks. If you find something really, really, really cool, they reserve the right to put it on display in the museum, but then you can always tell your friends, hey, head on up there to the Stone Rose Interpretive Center and take a look at what I found. And that's what you call some serious bragging rights. Ladies, we've got to wrap things up, but before we do, let's give folks websites. First off, for the Stone Rose Interpretive Center, so people can find out more about that and either bring up the family, or if you want to really impress somebody on a date, that would be a really fun one.
Right. StoneRoseFossil.org will get you all the information you need to come on up and find some history.
In Angel, obviously, folks can go ahead and just Google Curlew Lake Resorts and get a lot of information. Then go to the Washington State Parks website, find out about the state park there, and the K Diamond K Ranch. Just Google that. But for other information about outdoor recreation and places to stay, places to eat in Ferry County, where should they go?
www.ferrycounty.com. It's a great site. You see a lot of stuff.
Ferry County, Washington, folks. It's way up in northeast Washington, but boy, oh boy, there's a lot to do there. Whether you're after fishing, camping, hunting, riding a bike, riding a horse, or maybe doing some fossil hunting. Ladies, thanks for sharing this with us today on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.